appreciated the value of regular adjustments until actually this year, when a chiropractor friend of mine just said, "Hey, you got a forward head carriage." She said, so I flew up to see him in Boston, had some x-rays done, I had some DJT in my 5th and 6th cervical vertebrae. So I've been getting regular chiropractic locally from actually graduate of Palmer. Not Palmer South, but Palmer in Davenport. And then earlier this summer, and so it was the Gonstead and CPP and getting some improvement. And then I met Mark in July. Was it July, Mark?
Yeah.
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, and boy, was I impressed. I've set goals for myself, and one of my goals, and I almost always achieve my goals. And one of those lists on the goals, personal goals, was correcting my bunion. It's been on my list for 10 years, and without surgery, of course. And I knew I was going to do it, but I didn't know how. Now I know how, because of Mark, and I'm getting there. I'm probably still about 6 months away.
Yeah, it used to cross over his second toe. Now it's just edged up against it, so we're getting there.
Yeah.
And his actual protrusion and the fibroticness of the capsule is going away. And of course, he's doing the oil protocol, and he's using the tech.
Yeah, well, I forgot. I washed my clothes before. I washed the. See, I rarely wear shoes because I live in Florida. So, as Mark can testify, because he's been staying with me the last few days. So, and I don't like to wear socks. So I actually take the insole and cut it out and put it in a wristband. I washed the wristband.
So, what would you say about the tech and how it benefits the overall process?
Well, it's hard to tell for me personally, from experientially. But what I've seen in multiple cases is the quantitative EEG changed dramatically. And to me, that's pretty definitive proof that there's a benefit there. So I'm trusting that it works from some of these other things, but there's no reason to doubt it when you have such objective parameters to document that it works. So Mark's just a magician.
And so
he's a
you
magician.
also are a big advocate of Gonstead specific extremity adjusting.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed because I've seen a Gonstead chiropractor up in Daytona, and he does the stuff, but he never used the instrument.
The nervous scope.
So
He's not a Gonstead.
No, he's not.
yeah. Well, he had them. He had said, what else? So he pulls out 5 or 6.
So Joe asked him, "Why aren't you using this?"
Yeah.
Because he knows that every time I check him and post check him.
Yeah. So it was great, and now he's going to be checking me every time. So. But I'm a big believer. Mark is probably one of the most gifted adjusters I've ever seen, and I'm just privileged to have a chance to know him and looking forward to optimizing my spinal health.
You betcha. And thanks so much for being an advocate. We have one question.
Yeah.
What is the benefit of infrared as to the healing process of the joint? I knew you could address that better than I.
Well, infrared is a generic category, so you want to break it down to near, mid, and far. There's probably very little benefit of the mid and the far infrared, like your typical far infrared saunas, and most of those are problematic for a number of reasons. One is because if it works, it's only going to, well, it will work, to detoxify you. It won't improve your metabolic and cellular health. And then the complication most every far infrared sauna is that they have high electrical fields. They may remediate the magnetic, and many don't. Probably most don't. But the key thing is the near infrared, which is pretty easy to get. You can get this heat lamp bulb. If you get a heat lamp bulb, you want to make sure it's a non-Teflon coated one because it can outcast that fluoride. It's kind of like your Teflon frying pans, they're perfectly safe.
So you heat them up?
Until you cook them with them, So same thing, you don't get a non-Teflon near infrared bulb and you heat it up, and then it has wavelengths that start, you can see red. Red's about 650, 600 or so, and it goes all the way up to about 2,000 nanometers. But when you hit 850, that's a special wavelength that penetrates your body about 3 centimeters. Now the higher wavelengths will theoretically can penetrate, and they would in an environment without water. But guess what? Your body has loads of water, so all those wavelengths stop and they don't penetrate. That's why the far infrared sauna, they claim goes deep into the body, but it doesn't. It goes like 2 millimeters. But the near infrared does. It goes about 3 inches or so. And then there's this wavelength, 850 nanometers around there. And then the 660 too, which actually activates cytochrome C oxidase in the fourth cytochrome. So then it energizes the mitochondria to make more ATP.
And please, what I want to say before Dr. Joe leaves is go to his website. He's got a lot of great stuff there. And he's component of chiropractic, and I believe you're gonna, on some of your upcoming podcasts, you're gonna have some chiropractors on.
Oh, yeah, I've
to
had
talk about the
at
healing
least one a year.
processes, and maybe
Yeah.
even we'll
Billy
get
DeMoss
Extremity
was
work
last
on
year, I
it
had my
sometime.
chiropractor this year.
And
I'm gonna have Mark on. so-
Work on the Gonstead stuff. So subscribe to it, get on it, because this guy knows his stuff. I mean.
Well, I've been able to fool Mark for the last few days.
I know, I've seen you a lot of times. It's hard to keep doing that.
He's got some great vitamins too, he's got the vitamin D3
Yeah,
spray.
I got
that
it
is,
all.
Wait, the D3 spray is only if you don't live in
You
Florida.
always got it.
You know, I mean, you definitely
You don't
want to
need
get
it
it from the
then.
sun, because the sun exposure is not just vitamin D, it's also UVA. And UVA stimulates nitric oxide production, which has, of course, has a lot of good benefits, you know, like decreasing blood pressure and cardiovascular risk disease. And then it also has infrared, near infrared. Can you imagine that 40% of the sunlight is near infrared? You get it for free. So
And
rather
next
than
time
buy a
you're gonna
spray.
You're gonna be in Orlando when? At the
Oh yeah, that is,
ACMI?
yeah, ACIM, Mark's gonna be there too. I mean, I'm so excited. It's like in 10 days. It's November 7th, 8th, and 9th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next, not this,
Integrated medicine,
The weekend after
holistic
next.
integrated medicine, all the latest, greatest stuff, research.
yeah, it's including
Dr. Joe.
the tech. Dr.
Including they don't know about the tech yet. I haven't told them.
Oh, okay.
I haven't showed them or told them. But if you wanna hang around, I'll be glad to show you the new neurotech that makes all treatments, especially chiropractic, work better. Better resolution of the
Yeah,
conditions.
it's just beyond crazy, because even if it doesn't work, if you're highly skeptical and you don't believe it works, like there's no downside. It's not a pill or anything. It's just a little patch you either wear or, you know, put in your.
Yeah,
But it's
well, what it does, it stimulates the mechanoproprioceptive and somatic areas on the bottom of the foot or at the arm. It upgrades into the brainstem, and the brainstem controls, as we all know, all neurological function. And it literally stimulates it to seek out and find a problem and coordinates that. So your adjustment does better, any type cryotherapy does better, Joe's D3 sprayer, whatever. It works better because it's constantly promoting it to go to homeostasis. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's so affordable. It's a sock or an insole or something like
Yeah,
that. It
it's
really
like
works
there's-
well.
Like Tim Ferriss had-
Well,
Tim-
like your, Erin, your girlfriend, she's
Yeah.
getting resolution on her Morton's neuroma. Okay, good size. How many surgeries?
Shit.
3 or 4?
3 or 4, yeah.
Since I've been here, we only got 40% left.
Yeah,
She's
she was
wearing
gonna go
the tech,
surgery.
She's wearing, she's
crazy.
doing the oils, she's getting adjusted, most important. All the other doesn't work unless you do the adjustment. And not only the spine, but also the structural. And I'm telling you, she's less pain, walks better, and I think before I leave, it'll be gone.
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's and not only that, but he's the extremity guy. And he fixed her. She had a torn labrum in her shoulder, rotator cuff
Couldn't
tear.
abduct her arm.
Couldn't abduct her. And she's seen really good chiropractors. Supposedly Francis Murphy is like the shoulder specialist, and had stem cell injections were very painful and expensive, and no resolution over the last few years. And Mark's has got literally in 2 treatments or 3 treatments, she's almost all back.
What did I always say? Do the right things, get results.
Yeah.
And she had a bicep tendon, so she had a scapular problem. Remember we did
Yeah, yeah.
scapular, Joe, and third thoracic?
Yeah.
And then we went in and did the, flipped her over and did the bicep tendon reduction. It was lateral malpositioned. And then the AEX, she couldn't raise her trunk, immediately went up, boom, she was floored. Well, you just gotta do the right thing.
Yeah, so you guys are in the right place, man. You're gonna learn from one of the best. And it's one of my goals is to make sure this knowledge doesn't disappear when this guy leaves.
He's afraid I'm gonna pass away, so I've lost 8 pounds since I've been here.
He's actually almost metabolically flexible this morning.
I know, he did
he
my
was
teeth.
throwing off.
Tell him about that.
He was throwing off 0.4 millimoles of ketone. So, everyone knows about burning fat for fuel and metabolic flexibility.
He's writing a new book, tell him about that.
Yeah, which is called Keto Fast. It won't come out until May. My next book is coming out in 2 weeks, I think, with Superfuel, but that's not a good one. The good one is keto fast, which talks about partial fasting and how you can get the benefits, because most of us know the benefits of water fast. You know, it's just unbelievable metabolic magic, but the thing is the compliance rate on that sucks and it's hard to do, and I don't think it's optimal because you actually detox too rapidly and you're not supporting your body's ability to detox. So if you do a partial fast, you can get like all the benefits. You can do it more frequently. You can do, because like, you can do partial fasting once or twice a week, whereas a water fast, you can only do a few times a year. You know, so you just, you know, almost.
How long do you recommend it for?
Well, the water fast is pretty cool. So the first step is to compress your eating window.
That's
which
what
is
he's doing to
Roger-
me right now.
Compress your eating window, so you
He's-
get it down to
he's
6 to 8 hours.
telling me that I was eating totally wrong.
No, timing.
Not totally wrong.
Timing wise.
But more towards
You
the
can-
timing.
Yeah, you can eat the best food in the
I get done
world.
with practice, I go eat. Well, you
Yeah.
can't eat within
No,
3
you
hours,
cannot.
you're going to bed.
He was sabotaging himself on steroids, and he didn't understand that. This guy's like a elite athlete when he was younger. I mean, amazing athlete. I mean, he doesn't look like it now, but he really was. He's going to get back there. No, I mean, you would never know the capacity of athletic performance he was participating in when he was younger. And pretty interesting, we grew up in pretty close
I know, we're
proximity to each
from
other.
Chicago.
Yeah.
And I was there too.
Yeah, so, but
By the way,
that's an
we're the same age.
Yeah. Can't believe it.
I want to be like him someday when I grow up.
So the issue with the partial fasting is, so you compress the eating window to 6 to 8 hours. So essentially for a month or so, you're not eating for 18 hours. Once you're able to do that, then you go to the next day, preferably after a day where you have a lot of carbs and protein, because you do cyclical ketogenesis. So you don't just do solid low carb. So you've just done some strength training, and then you go to the 18 hours, and you have a 600 calorie meal, 600 calories, and you don't eat for 24 hours. So it's only a 24-hour water fast, but it's based on going into that with an 18-hour fast. So it's a 42-hour fast total on 600 calories, which really activates autophagy and stem cells, and then you support it with detox, and it's just magnificent. I've done it about 12 times now. I can't rave enough about it. It's just amazing stuff. So.
Well, and I want to tell you one thing. When
sorry?
I'm working with both of them,
Keto fast.
what I normally
Maybe.
see in how productive in the progression of healing, Aaron and him, they heal so quickly because their intercellular is so sound that it's amazing. I mean, Morton's aroma don't resolve like that. But she's doing it because her body can in tune, and she's got all the resources and nothing holding it back. It's amazing. So all you got to do is facilitate that neurological and doing the right things mechanically. Bam! The body's in there healing itself.
Yeah, it works.
Hey, Mark, with the Vox, how long does it take to see a change on the QEEG?
About 7 seconds.
About 7 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that right?
Well,
was
and I
guessing.
have slides that I was going to get to you to show you, but I wanted you to see some of this before Joe got here. So I'll show you those QEGs, and they're of me, of the brain injuries that I've had.
Yeah.
So,
It's got-
but that's what really changed your mind, wasn't it? Not so
The
much.
QEG,
Yeah.
yeah. And if Mark wasn't connected with really good chiropractors like Gonstead himself in the clinic, he wouldn't be here. I'm convinced he'd be dead because of his injuries. He's had some pretty severe injuries. Or if not, he'd be crippled up in a wheelchair. So he's got some amazing stories, man. I've been having a good time since he's been down here. So.
Well, Dr. Joe, thank you so much
Are you
for being
going? You
here.
go out with lunch with Roger then, or?
Oh, I don't know. Roger, are we going to lunch, or
Hope so.
am I riding back with Dr. Joe?
Going for a
Want to go to lunch?
fast.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. I'll meet you back at home, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks so much, man.
Can we get a picture?